day.
Every day? Okay, I just started the recording.
Yeah,
So touch base every day.
yeah, to like remind yourself of like why you're here.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
if you don't do that, you tend to kind of fall back into the pattern of the mind. You know, you're just having the experience, you're going to work, you're getting everything done, running around with the family,
Yeah.
and it kind of just the the big picture kind of like falls away.
Right.
So you kind of want to remind yourself about like being here as the consciousness. Like it should be the first thing that you think about, like when you wake up.
So this is becoming like a technique. Like remind yourself forcefully that you
Yeah,
right in the initial days. Okay.
yeah. Until you don't have to think about it.
Oh. Okay. Okay. But I thought any technique is a misguide.
Yeah, but if you're not doing anything, then how are you going to make any quote unquote progress?
Thank you. Okay. So then this starts with the mind then. So
It does.
okay.
Yeah,
But
because the mind has to come to understand what it's not.
oh, okay. So the problem is with the mind thinking wrongly what it is not. But
Or what it
then
is. It thinks what it is the problem, thinking it's the individual.
mind thinking individual is the problem.
Yeah, it has to realize that it's not the individual.
But it is the awareness in which uh, the mind and the dreams and the deep sleep all appears. One second, I'll close this door.
Sure.
I'm back.
Yeah, everything's happening within that awareness. But what ends up happening is that our focus and our attention gets caught within the experiencing as thinking that we're actually engaging as the experiencer, you know, as that individual having an experience, and it's not the reality. The reality is that's just a happening, you know, within the consciousness, and the reality of what you are is witness. But the mind is so engaged in the idea of its having like a personal experience
Yeah.
that there's no space to relax out of that because the mind is too tight.
Hmm.
So the practice is really just loosening up the mind enough to realize that there's something watching the mind the entire time. Like the mind is appearing to something. It's not appearing to you. If you think you're the mind,
Hmm.
like you are the awareness, not the person watching the mind.
Okay. One thing also, I have a question, William. I'm just deviating a little bit here. What you said is, oh yeah, okay. My question is, the Advaita people say the awareness is also in deep sleep. That is the watcher in the dreams also, and that is the watcher or observer, or that is the strata or the basis for the consciousness in which the thought appears. The,
Mm-hmm.
we are conscious only when we wake up in the morning, and when we go to bed, our conscious is gone, right? So
Oh,
is that
you're conscious of the dream.
right? I'm conscious of the dream, yeah. And then when I wake up, I'm conscious of this physical world.
Yes, it's really no different than a dream.
Right. I mean, there are similar qualities, right?
Yeah.
Dream, sleep,
Mhm.
and then when we wake up, the dream looks like unreal. But then, uh, what happened to me in my physical world yesterday is of dream quality. My yesterday's dream and what happened to me in my physical world yesterday, both, if I look, both are from my memory, and their qualities of that of the dream stuff. Like they don't have a
Mhm.
reality. Okay. So now what this Advaita people are saying is the awareness is what is present in your deep sleep also, in your dream also, and in your waking state also. Is
Right.
that your first-hand experience?
Yes.
Wow. Hmm.
I don't see myself as this individual. I don't see myself as this experiencing.
Okay.
There's a witness that is witnessing the experience. Because the experience is passing moment by moment.
Right.
So in order for you to know the moment is passing, there has to be something that's not passing.
Okay. But if I ask you, okay, if I ask you, hey, what did you dream yesterday? Then if you recall it, sometimes you can recall. Then you will say, okay, like I was running here and a tiger was chasing me, or I was driving a car, and right, all those things you can say that, right? Whatever you can recall, but it is all in your memory, right? So my memory is what tells me that I lived yesterday. I went to school.
And who are you? Who's the memory telling?
uh, to the persona, to the person.
There is no person. How could the memory be talking to a person? The person is the memory.
Yeah. The person is part of the memory.
Yeah, so how could the memory talk to the person? Or how can the person know the memory? The person is part of the memory, so it can't know the memory.
But if somebody asks me, hey, what did you had breakfast? Like, what did you had for your breakfast yesterday? They ask me, this person. Then this person,
You think that they're asking the person because they're thinking that you're
a
the
person.
person.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you a person because they think you are.
Okay. But then somebody asked me, hey, what did you had breakfast? I'm going to say, okay, I had something for breakfast, right? So
Well, how do you know that? Like, who's looking at the memory to recall that?
okay, I do not know. So can you tell me, like, how does it happen? Some person asked me what you had for lunch. I say, like, I had some whatever, some dish for lunch. That person is asking me.
See, I
And
see it as
okay.
the consciousness is asking you.
Oh,
Like Nisargadatta says, the word is speaking to the word.
WORD.
The one consciousness that there is aware of the word talking to the word.
Sorry, when you say, is it WORD or WORLD?
WORD.
Okay. But words are in a.
There's only one consciousness, and it's not an individualized consciousness. In the same way that there's one space, and there's space in Europe that's connected to the space that you're in, but you don't know what's happening in Europe. There's one consciousness that you're aware of the thoughts in your head. The same consciousness is aware of the thoughts in somebody else's head. There's no difference. There's no two consciousnesses. So when Nisargadatta is saying the word is speaking to the word, it's just an appearance within that consciousness. It's one consciousness. There are no individuals.
Okay, so that is what not an easy pill to swallow to begin with, because the way how we are all grown up or learned is that I'm an individual and consciousness is in this. Okay, body, mind, and
You
yeah,
have to be willing to let go of that idea. Like Ramana Maharshi says, like, what is awakening? Like, how do you do it? He says, destroy yourself. Like, that's how much of an impact it has to make on you, that you have to take it to heart, that like, I have to be willing to destroy myself. You know, it's not something that really happens because you don't exist anyway. But it's that idea that you're carrying that's been programmed into you,
yeah,
since childhood, since you learned to look in a mirror and say, hey, that's me.
yeah.
You know, that was the first time that you became a person. Like, the person's not born.
Mm.
Person is learned through language.
Mm. Actually, this is a revolutionary statement. A person is not born; he's made using language.
It's true.
I have a birth certificate, and in all of my document, there's a date of birth. Right? I mean, wherever you go, they say, "Hey, show me your date of birth proof," and I have to show
Yes.
my driving license or my passport or whatever. So
It's not worth the paper it's printed on.
Okay. So then I need some more like clarity or pointers or understanding about that everything is happening in consciousness and there's only one consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is happening in the consciousness. Okay, I think I'd like to share my screen and uh, I need to capture this. I'll share my screen. Jan 26th. Okay, so now let us go a little bit slow here. Actually, there is
Mm-hmm.
one question I had. See, some masters say, in your awareness only there is pure consciousness, and now what I'm hearing is actually awareness is what is everywhere, and in awareness the consciousness comes and go. So how do you differentiate this?
Well,
Like
the consciousness doesn't come and go.
when we wake up in the morning, we are conscious. No, I mean,
The consciousness is still there.
okay. And what is the relation between consciousness and awareness?
Well, the awareness is the most subtle aspect of consciousness. Like, the consciousness is also the experiencing.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening within the experiencing is consciousness.
Okay. Let us take a step back here then. Okay. See, now I'll just clean up this things. Just okay. Now this red central box is a thought, if you assume, which is the thought which is in the mental faculty, and this is floating in what is called stillness and void, which is in the awareness, which is inside the pure consciousness. Is this a correct statement?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're all just labels, you know.
But at least it has to.
Yeah, it's like training wheels.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's training the wheels. At this beginning level, these are all useful. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but later, yes. Then when this thoughts somehow stay in that stillness, or just try to be pure witness, and as you said, remained thought remaining itself. That hey, look, you are actually not a thought, but um, you are actually the awareness and consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so You know what? I want to understand. What is there a difference between being conscious and consciousness? Or are they the same?
I mean, it's the same. It's just a different aspect. Like, if you want to talk about like beingness,
Yeah. No.
like beingness is the I am. It's the, you know, the thought that I am.
Okay. Is that beingness I am? Is it in stillness void, or is it in awareness, or is it in pure consciousness?
Well, everything's in pure consciousness. And there's an awareness of the I am. The I am arises out of the void, and it's like the most subtle thought, really. If you think about it, it's more of like a subtle thought.
One second. Yeah, actually, even last week I was reading Nisarata Maharaj, and I had some questions about this I amness. So, is this I amness a part of stillness void, or is it part of thought,
No,
or it's outside thought?
it's part of like the thought.
Oh,
It's really a subtle thought. It's like the original thought that I am, but it's subtle.
but it's
Not,
part of
you know,
thought only. If there's no mind, there's no I am.
right.
Okay. See, when I close my eyes, and even when there is no thoughts coming and going, I see I'm present and something is there, right? Is that I am?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, then can we
It's
say I
present.
am is a qualityless thought? A
Yeah.
thought without any quality.
Yes. It's beingness, presence, I amness.
But they're not part of thought, right? Or are they? Are they part of thought?
It's like you said, it's a qualityless thought. It's like the original thought.
Okay. And you said I amness, beingness. What's the other thing you said?
What else did I say? Presence.
Presence.
And
And
it's not a personal thing. It's not like you own it as the person.
oh, okay.
It's there. It's there before the idea of the person arises.
Okay. And then if a person is in let us say deep sleep, then there is no I amness, there's no beingness, there's no presence.
No.
Oh, okay. So all this comes,
When you
all
wake up.
these are felt, are known
Yeah, when you wake up.
in the waking state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, in deep sleep, then how do you differentiate? In deep sleep also looks like I think that I exist, right? I mean, a tiger is chasing me, or I'm driving a car.
Well, deep sleep or dream sleep, you mean? Like deep sleep
Oh,
is when
dream,
you're
dream.
not.
I know,
Yeah.
undefinable, no quality, nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
in dream. In dream, does this I amness, beingness, presence also exist or not?
No.
Hmm. But in dream, I know that I'm driving the car, right? I mean, I might not even have a body. I don't know what the hell that body is, but I drive
Well,
a car in my dream.
I guess there is the possibility of like lucid dreaming,
Yeah.
where people are like aware that they're dreaming. So I'm not really that
Okay. Sure.
sure
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. 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 Now let us come to this consciousness. You're saying there's only one consciousness, but many Advaita teachers says localized consciousness.
Yeah, there is localized and there is non-localized.
Right. I mean, the universal one, right? And then inside that, there are localized consciousnesses, right?
Yeah. But it's still the same consciousness.
Oh, but then a localized consciousness has a form. A localized, okay. I think I got an idea how to represent this now. Mm. Okay, yeah. So, okay. There is one universal pure consciousness, and for fun, for Leela, this localized as forms, such as a dog or a cat or a bird or sun or whatever hell. Like that, there is lots and lots of forms, right? So the qualityless universal consciousness become like form, and then it is running that show from inside each of those form. But then, like space, this consciousness is like untouchable by any of the form. But consciousness, like in the ocean, when at the right temperature, there lots of ice formation happens, right? So
Yeah.
like icebergs, like there's tons and tons of, so like that on the qualityless ocean, some iceberg happens, which are all transient, temporary thing, but then they are still made up of water only.
Yeah, or they, they always use the concept of the wave, the wave.
Right. Which is a temporary thing. So,
yeah.
Okay, so the localized consciousness is the form, which is transient and temporary. But, okay, now why is that only human mind can know that it is consciousness? Why can't a tree know that it is consciousness?
Because it doesn't have the complexity of the mind to know itself. To be self-aware. I mean, there's some animals that can be self-aware.
Yeah, like they can look at the mirror and they can scratch their own head. So self-awareness is a requirement to know for the form to know that in reality it is consciousness.
Say that again.
Okay. Is self-awareness a requirement for a evolved form, like our mind, like form and then our mind, right? So self-awareness is a requirement to know that I'm part of this universal consciousness, or I'm not separate from this universal consciousness.
Yes.
Okay. And this self-awareness is possible because of a mind, which is in a brain.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then you will agree for the Big Bang theory and all the evolution?
I mean, I don't know exactly how it started.
Yeah, we don't know exactly how, but at least they're saying, look, there was a singularity, everything was one, and then it started expanding, and then lots of galaxies came, and lots of planets came, and then animals came. So you believe in that? So that whole
but that's
story
that's still just the projection that's happening within you.
Within that consciousness, one single consciousness. See, when you say within you, William, you're not speaking to Jay, right?
I'm speaking to the consciousness.
That is the problem. when William speaks to, it's happening within you. I say, okay, well, where the hell is it happening inside me? I'm a person. I'm sitting here. This is my home.
See, I've listened to Nisargadatta too long, because he always says, like, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to the consciousness.
Okay. So, from this universal consciousness, like there are lots of things happening, Leela, fun, and then it evolved, then human mind came, and one human mind realized that actually its reality is consciousness, even though this is projected, right?
Mhm.
And one mind understands that, but then when that mind speaks to other mind, the other
The
mind
mind
still.
doesn't, the mind just understands that it's not what it thinks it is, that there's something beyond it that it can't know.
Okay.
But in that releasing the idea of being that certain individual, something else arises from within
Okay.
that you recognize as, this is what I am, and
Mm,
I'm not what I thought I was.
okay.
So it's not the mind recognizing it. The mind is just kind of like opening its hand up and like letting go of control. And whatever is there prior to the mind arises and kind of realizes
Take.
that that's what I am.
Okay. But still, the mind continues until the body is there.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more quiet.
Hmm.
You, doesn't hold the importance as it used to. It's more of like that. It's a tool. It's just an instrument. It's not. It's not what's driving your life anymore. You know that there's something else that's moving everything. Every conversation that you have, everything that you decide to do,
Yeah.
something else. The consciousness is moving everything.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's why you stop relying on the mind. You allow the consciousness to move everything because you know that it's moving it.
Okay. Um, give me 1 minute. I'll just I would like to continue this Zoom. Uh, okay. A quick time check. How much time do you have today?
I have till like 3.
3 is 1 o'clock, which is another 2 hours. Okay. I'm just extending this Zoom meeting.
Sure.
Okay, sorry. I don't know. This is not working, but let us go. I mean, I just want to extend this Zoom meeting thing, but it might not. So if it disconnects, I'll rejoin with the same
Okay.
link. Thank you. Okay. We were speaking about. Okay. Now you somehow came to know, or you realized that you're not an individual. You are that consciousness. That's one thing which I do not know that yet. And the second thing is, um, when you say consciousness, you also okay. Now this is where I have the question. See, now initially you said as you are consciousness, you know you exist when you're sleeping, also in your dream, also in this physical waking state, also. But whatever I want to recall, it's based on memory, and memory exists only in waking state. I can recall. But how can you recall that you slept also? Like there's no memory, right? But how can you recall? But you say like whatever happened, it has at that time something has to happen and it has to be stored as your memory. And then you can recall, yeah, this happened. So so what recalls? Or even if you say a person cannot recall, how does that recalling happens?
What, that you slept in
Yeah.
deep sleep?
Yeah. Like if somebody asks you like you like,
I mean, that's
yeah.
the thing that I've heard, and it's the only thing that you can say is that you know that you slept well, or you know that
Yeah.
you didn't sleep well. There's something that knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that you have to also understand, that it comes to you through the realization of what you are. Like you just have a knowingness of that's what you are, and you know that it doesn't go anywhere. And you know that anything that's appearing is just appearing in that. So when there's nothing that appears, you know that that's what you are. Like it's not a question. It's not a question of having to remember. Like you don't have to remember your name. Like, it's the same thing. Like you know that that's what you are, even when you're not. Even when you're not appearing as the individual or even as a dream, there's an understanding with the realization that what you are is beyond all of this anyway. So that question, it's not a question to that which knows what it is. It's only a question to this appearance, and this appearance is just a projection. And trying to convince the projection of how does somebody know that they were in deep sleep, it's kind of like nonsensical. Like once you understand.
Okay. But William, when we are chatting now, it is the William, the persona, the person is what is responding to me, right?
No, there is no person. It's the consciousness.
But consciousness as localized as William, right?
There's no William. To you, William may appear to you, but he doesn't appear to me. This is just the consciousness. The consciousness is just moving.
Okay, so you are also then, but then you said, hey, Jay, right in the beginning. So then who is Jay then?
Consciousness appearing as Jay.
Consciousness.
It's not Jay appearing as Jay. It's consciousness with the label of Jay. But there's a knowingness that Jay is not there as an individual.
But
you can use the words, you can use the concepts.
Because?
It's just a convenience for communication.
And why communication has to happen?
I don't know. Why are we here?
No. See, from a mind point of view or a person point of view, there's an intention, there's a reason, and there's an effort. All those things are there.
And not,
But if
not to
it's
me. That's extra stuff that the mind is.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. So for like most of us, from thousands of years, we are brainwashed that okay, you are a separate individual. This is you're accountable and responsible. You're good, bad, all those things they say. But then somehow you realize that you are not that individual, but you are that consciousness in which all individual happen, right? So for you, it doesn't make a difference between whether it is Jay or William or a dog or a tree. Everything are appearance in that one consciousness. And then if it wants to respond, it will respond. If it doesn't want to respond, it doesn't respond. You are like so aloof. It is not even like a movie in a screen. It is like even in a movie in a screen, we want the hero to win and the bad guy to lose.
You can still have emotions and not that type of stuff. You can still allow yourself to kind of, be there. It's the way the consciousness moves. You understand that you're not in control of anything.
No, I don't understand that. Sorry. Yet. If that is a valid thing, I don't know that yet. I still believe I am responsible and accountable for whatever I'm supposed to do. Right? Like,
And the Sargadatta says everything is happening spontaneously.
yeah.
Just arising based on, how he calls it the 5 elements. The 5 elements are they're just moving.
See, that is a unhelpful point of view, because see, in my body also I have trillions and trillions of cells which are working together. But now that piece of information is unhelpful for me if I'm hungry and I have to go and get some food to eat or make some money and get some food to eat, right? Yeah, whether I know it or not, they're going to function. But I have a responsibility to feed myself.
Yeah, but you're going to feed yourself anyway. When you're hungry, you're going to go looking for food. Whose responsibility is it?
Mine.
Who's deciding?
I, the person.
Show me the person. Back to that question.
Yeah. So the existence or the non-existence of the you know what? I think this is not going in the right direction. Let me change track and come from the consciousness point of view. Right? Okay. So now you're saying, okay, see now, I just want to go from another point of view now. When I close my eyes, when there's a sound, I hear the sound inside an emptiness, right? I hear a sound, it's like there was nothing and there is a sound. And then I open my, yeah.
The distinction is there's no you who hears the sound, it's the consciousness.
Consciousness hears the sound.
Yeah, the sound is appearing to what? What is the sound appearing to?
The sound is appearing to in a space.
Think of the body as like a computer. Like I know you're like a tech guy. Like,
yeah.
The body is more of like an interface, but something has to be reading the interface.
Okay.
And it's not the body. The mind is like a manufacturer of a thought or of a feeling, a sensation, an emotion. It's manufacturing all these different things.
Right. Okay. See, this is a good starting point. Yeah.
But they're appearing to something that's not part of the machine. The body is just a machine. Anything that the body spits out, it's not appearing to the body. It's appearing to the consciousness.
But this is a good starting point. We both agree, at least there is this thing called brain on which the mind runs, and this mind manufactures many things. This everybody will agree. Like anybody in the street also, an ignorant guy also will agree. Yeah. my mind, like my mind says, I heard a voice, right? I
Mhm.
decided, like something appeared, or yeah. So everything appears to the
Doesn't appear to the mind.
right.
It appears as the mind.
Wow, appears because
As
of the
the,
mind,
yeah, because of the mind.
right? So mind is like a prism, right? There's lots of color things and all,
Mhm.
and this guy shows like 7 colors or whatever color is this. So okay, so at least there's a reality of the body and the reality of the mind, even though whatever they show are projected. Okay,
Mhm.
I can't even say the real. Okay. See, this is a good starting point. Mind is like a prism, or yeah, prism. Because see, now there is bodily sensations and there is so many things are happening. The mind also filters. It knows. Okay, at this
Mhm.
time I should know this thought. And look, there's a oncoming bus towards you, oncoming truck coming towards you. Okay, that's a priority. So
Mhm.
mind shows that, hey, look, prioritize that. Now escape from that oncoming traffic, and now think, okay, what am I supposed to do tomorrow, right? So mind keeps
Mhm.
on projecting. So this we both agree, and this is real.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, now we have a common ground. Now let us go to the next steps. Okay, mind
So
is a
what is
mechanism.
that? What is that appearing to? What is everything that it's producing? Like, what is it appearing to? Even the idea of yourself is part of the mind. You know, who
Yeah,
I think I am is coming through the mind
yes,
I, as
yeah,
I.
yeah.
But what is the I appearing to?
Okay, so what you're saying is, um, so far so good. That there's like Big Bang, evolution, humans, and my brain, and then mind, and whatever this mind shows are so this at least can we agree that the mind projects.
Yeah.
So far so good. But what you're saying is,
The mind
this,
projects, but the light of the projection is coming from the consciousness.
let it come wherever. That is also immaterial. I mean, that is not a problem. It's a fact that mind projects something. Eh, eh, Like until this body is there, mind will keep on projecting, and this
And
body shut off.
remember, it's not really the mind projecting it. The mind is the projection. The consciousness is projecting it as the mind.
Fine,
Whatever
fine.
is whatever is appearing as the mind, but it's being projected by the consciousness.
Yes, but okay, that is okay. Let that happen. But the more relevant is mind projects. We both agree.
If you want to say it that way, it's mind is the projection. It's not really
See,
projecting.
mind itself, the consciousness can project the mind. That is not
Yeah.
th- that's okay. But then the mind also projects. Mind shows, look, there's a truck coming. Tackle
Well,
that.
the mind is the projection.
But that is irrelevant for us now. In the
Okay.
sense, fine, let it project. But then that's not what we are talking now. That could be an awesome thing. But what we are talking is the mind, uh, s- what are the sense organs, right? The mind
Hmm.
collects all the sense organs 24 by 7. Because even when you are in deep sleep, there's a huge, I mean, there's a like big noise, the mind will wake you up. The body and the mind will wake up, right? So
Yeah.
this mind is working, or this body mind system is working 24 by 7, and this mind always shows, look, there's a truck, run. Tomorrow we have to do the task. Let's start, right? So the mind keeps on showing something or the other, right? You can even say the witnesser is that consciousness, but even that is not relevant for now. The mind keeps on until the body is there, mind keeps on showing this or that and scary things and happy things and all those things, it will keep projecting.
Hmm.
We agree here?
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason or the energizer for the mind, or the reason why the mind is possible, could be because of consciousness, but then that is not our focus now, right?
Okay.
Okay, so the universe or whatever the universal consciousness projects, creates the mind or projects the mind, and the mind itself projects something or the other when we are consciousness, right? It could be from memory, it could be from anywhere. Mind keeps projecting, okay?
Hmm.
And inside the mind, we have this imaginary I persona, right?
That's
Inside the yeah,
another part of the projection.
of the mind,
Hmm.
only the mind, right? So mind only projects the persona, the personality, which is based on the memory, whatever is recorded in the brain, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're saying everything is happening in consciousness.
The thing is, you have to understand what is that. What is all that information appearing to?
Appearing to, you know what, this is a very, very,
It's the critical point right here.
yeah, yeah.
You,
So you're
there's
asking,
no you who it's appearing to, because you are part of the projection.
yes, yes. The persona, the personality is part of projection. But does that projected personality understand? Does the mind understand that actually everything is projected on consciousness?
Well, that's what I talked about earlier, where the mind comes to realize that it's not what they thought it was. And the way that you realize that is you understand that the activity of the mind is appearing to something other than the mind.
1 second. I'm just taking a notebook here. So mind needs to know that it itself doesn't have a reality, but it is consciousness projected.
Say that again. Sorry.
Okay. So mind needs to know that it by itself it doesn't have any reality, but it is all consciousness projected. The mind has to
Yeah.
know.
It
And
has to know that it's appearing to something else.
right. And then
That
shut up. And then when it shuts up and it knows, okay, that's it. And then the consciousness will take over, or it
Yeah,
will reveal itself.
the mind loses its power because there's no longer a belief in that reality.
Okay. Now it's
Because you know that the reality is the one that's witnessing everything, because the one that's witnessing everything doesn't come or go. Everything else comes and goes. But everything that comes and goes is appearing to one thing that is not coming or going, and that's the consciousness. It has to be there. And the only way for you to realize that it's there is to keep letting go of the idea of anything that comes and goes can be the reality. Like, you have to kind of look at it from the negative aspect that something that's not stable has to be appearing to something that is stable. It's just simple logic. Nothing in the experience is stable. You can't hold anything. It's disappearing into the moment by moment. But there's something here that's not coming or going. It's not disappearing. It's the same thing that's been here when you were a 5-year-old kid as now. You're still here. You're still the witness. Like Nisargadatta says, like, nothing's happening. Like, nothing's happening to me. It's all a projection of the mind. It's no different than going to the movie.
But William, you said like it is the same when this persona was 5-year-old and 50-year-old, but then that existed even before the body, right? And it is unrelated to the body, and this is what makes every form possible, every mind possible.
It all arises out of that which is prior to everything.
Okay, you said the mind appears to something,
Mhm.
or the mind appears because of something.
It's both.
Okay. See, mind appears because of something. I can agree. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe it's possible. If something appears, it is because of something else. Okay. But then you also say mind appears to something.
Yeah,
But
that's the critical part that you have to understand.
why should mind appears to something?
How else can mind be recognized that there's something there? The idea of the individual is a concept
Right?
that's appearing to something. Something has to witness the concept.
Why? It need not be.
How else can it be seen? Who's seeing it? The concept can't see itself. When a
So
thought
that's
pops
a
up into,
seer.
yeah, that's the witness.
And that witness is the consciousness, and it is the only reality.
Yes, because it doesn't change. It's the only thing that doesn't change. All change is appearing to it. Everything that pops into your mind, every thought that you have, every decision that you make,
Yeah.
is all appearing to the consciousness.
Why should consciousness care what is happening in
It
this
doesn't
mind?
care. It doesn't care. It's just watching. It has no interest at all whatsoever in it. It doesn't care what you do.
Yeah. Then why
It's just
watch?
watching.
There's no purpose. Why watch? I mean, we watch because there's a purpose. I mean, right? Now, why should this universal witness just watch for no purpose? Why it has to watch then? Let it go to sleep.
It's whatever is appearing. I mean, why is God making anything happen? God, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Why is anything happening?
I mean, see that we cannot ask, because that is at the level of purposeless level.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you cannot ask a purpose, because then we'll go back to that logical hole in which, yeah, right. So then even if universe says empty, people will come and blame it. Why the hell are you empty? Even if universe create something, somebody will come and why the hell did you do this thing, right? So yeah, I mean, inside the system there is a purpose, but for the whole system there is no purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a useless, valueless question. Like why? I mean, that at that level we cannot ask. Like,
Yeah,
why
the mind will use that to keep you caught within that,
right? Yeah,
within the
So
experience.
at least I don't want to go in that track. At least I have that understanding that, at that level we should not ask why, because it could be Leela, it is fun, and then whatever. Yeah, okay. Let's not go there. So now this is what I'm struggling to understand today. You're saying this mind is appearing to something.
Mhm.
Mind appears because of something, and mind appears to something. Or can we say mind appears on something,
You could say
which is
on
this?
something or to something. It's the same. Say it's a screen. It's appearing on a screen of consciousness. I like to say to because I know it to be myself. It's appearing to me.
Okay, so William's mind appears to you.
To consciousness.
Okay, and Jairam's words, Jay's words, are also appearing to William's mind, that you can see as the consciousness.
Mhm.
Okay, and your sensory organs, if there's a noise, that is appearing to William's mind mechanism.
Which is being witnessed by the consciousness.
Witnessed by the consciousness. Okay, and William's mind mechanism is possible because of that consciousness,
Mhm.
which you are. So William's mind, yeah.
Everything is. Like everything's moving everything. Like there's nothing there's nothing separate. Like, that's the butterfly effect, whatever you want to call it. Like everything is moving everything. It's all one projection.
One whole universal.
Yeah. And it's all moving together as one. So you're influencing like everything else within the universe. This conversation is influencing the entire universe.
Really? See, how can this conversation influence the universe?
It is. It is. It's creating the universe. It's the universe is emerging out of everything that's happening, including this conversation. If this conversation didn't happen, the universe would be different.
But from the universe point of view, it doesn't care for whatever hell happens, right?
No, I mean, from the universal consciousness, no, it doesn't care.
Right? Even if this whole earth explodes tomorrow, it is not going to cry.
Nope. The thing is, it's like, even to me, like, it doesn't affect me. Like, people will be like, what do you mean? Like, how can you say that? Like, that sounds so wrong.
Yeah.
But to know that you're beyond the entire experiencing and you've never changed, like, all change has happened within you from the beginning of time.
Okay. See now, the universal consciousness, which is you, have access to Williams' mind mechanism. Let's call mind as a mechanism, right? Mind is a mechanism. As you said, a computer, it's a machine which can collect information and display, right? So you, the universal timeless wholeness, have access to Williams' mind mechanism, right? But you don't have so that universal consciousness also has got to Jay's mind mechanism.
Yes. I can't see it in this environment because this environment is the William environment.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Like, I can't know your thoughts because that's
Jay's thought.
That's your projection. And that's appearing to the consciousness that I am. But what I'm here as in this experiencing is the William projection.
Okay. So when you are talking to me, then you are Williams projection? So
As
Williams projection
as the consciousness seen as Williams projection. I mean, that's in this environment, that's all that I can witness. But I'm beyond this experience.
No. So but then I can witness in the sense like Williams' mind can witness?
No. You can't witness what my mind is witnessing.
I cannot.
No, because your instrument is creating your own projection.
Right. So this instrument, this mechanism is this body mechanism, which has got the mind, which is projecting something, and Williams' mind is also projecting something, but you are not William. You are the underlying consciousness, right?
Right.
What is your relation as an underlying consciousness? What is your relationship with? Okay, you, the universal consciousness which is underlying, have access to Williams' memories and his thoughts and his brain or whatever projection, right?
Yeah.
Now, you as a universal consciousness, do you also have access to Jay's mind's projection?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah. But I can't access that in this environment.
Because you are currently as a Williams mechanism.
Yeah, this is Williams' projection.
No, projection of William. There's a projection of William.
Yes.
Not William's projection, because the William, the personality doesn't exist.
Correct.
Okay, so the universal is doing a Williams projection, J's projection, right? But somehow you know that you are that universal, that universal consciousness.
Yeah, because when you know that there's something that's witnessing your environment, you know that everybody, it's happening with everybody.
How can you know that it's happening with everybody?
Because you know what you are. You know that you're beyond the entire experiencing, and everything within the experiencing is happening within you because you're beyond the experiencing.
So yours is a inference. When William, the personality, knew somehow that is actually the consciousness, and then
It's not just an inference.
no, J is an inference for William, right? J exists somewhere else. It's an inference for William. But for William, this is not a first-hand experience. But see, for the William's or the consciousness, William, maybe you are because you are from inside, you have full access to William's memory. No, that consciousness doesn't have access to William's memory. So where is all this memory, by the way?
It's just another appearance.
No. Something appears. Like yesterday, I had biryani for breakfast, right? It's recalled here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the physiological place where the memory is stored. I'm not like a doctor.
Right.
I don't know the interworkings of the brain.
Yeah.
But everything that's coming out of that, like I said, it's like a manufacturing plant. It's appearing. I don't know where it's exactly coming from in terms of the brain.
But it comes from the brain.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
No, but does it come from the brain or not?
Well, the brain is producing.
Okay.
The images.
Brain is producing the images. Okay.
The most important thing is to understand that whatever is manufacturing the sensations, feelings, thoughts, emotions, it cannot also be the witness of them.
Okay, because these are all mechanical process. Doesn't have any subjectivity.
It's like saying like a TV can't witness itself. Like it's producing the images.
Somebody else should be there to witness it.
Somebody has to be watching the TV. It's the same exact principle. But we just have been so conditioned into just saying it's me, like just accepting me as all of this. It's just a misperception. The TV is not going to say this is me. It's impossible. It's just a projection. But nobody wants to lose that idea that they have that personal existence here, because they're so invested in it. You know, you put 50, I don't know how old you are, but 50 years into this. And it's not even that you don't want to let go. Sometimes you can't, because it's just so ingrained. The idea is so ingrained within you that it's hard to break out of that pattern. It just becomes like a habitual, like knee-jerk reaction. It's just me, like I'm doing this. Like everybody says they're a person. Why should I say that I'm not?
Yeah. What if they take all of my belongings?
Yeah.
If the person doesn't exist, then
I'm gonna lose everything. I'm gonna fall into the void.
Still worse is I'm going to be homeless. I have to live under a bridge with my
Yeah.
family, which is like torturous, right? I mean, even if you become wide, okay, nothing. But then living under a bridge is scary
Yeah.
for some people. Okay.
Yeah, it takes a certain amount of courage to
Accept the
to
fact.
accept the fact. Yeah. I mean, the one thing is you're not going to go around and tell people, like tell the general public of I'm nobody, like I don't exist, like I'm not a
Yeah,
person. That doesn't work very well.
no. I mean, it's a meaningless statement. I
Mm.
mean, from the public's point of view,
Yeah,
why I have to go and say that I don't exist?
yeah,
If you exist, you exist. Yeah.
yeah. Even from your own standpoint, it's meaningless.
Mm.
But the important thing is to allow the idea that all this is appearing to something that's not within the experience. That which is witnessing the experience is not in the experience.
Okay, now, see, William, at least in the Eastern philosophy, they say when 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 these masters realize themselves that they're the universal one, and they say there's no more births for them, like
No
there's
more
their
births.
last birth. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like at least Eastern philosophy, they believe in incarnation and all. You have to go work hard and purify for many lives, right? But then when you realize that you are that wholeness, then there's no more incarnation for you. Like there's no more birth for you. Like that is your
Mm-hmm.
last birth. What does it mean? Like what? Like is it so? And what are the implications of that thing? That statement? Is it so?
It's just that you no longer hold the idea that you're here as that individual. So that energy, it just dissolves. Whereas with somebody else who's holding that idea within the mind of this is who I am,
Yeah.
that energy is going to get reborn as something else because like energy is neither created nor destroyed. So it's going to get recycled.
Okay. So in both cases, so what's the difference? I missed some core point here. Like, is there any
Because
difference?
the idea of being here as an individual dissolves and that energy is no longer there.
But
That
the body
conception,
will continue to function.
yeah, the body continues to function until its usefulness is extinguished
Usefulness for whom?
for the body. There's nobody within the body,
But bodies are so projected, right? From bodies also projected.
right?
So when it comes to the projection, right, then there is no
Mhm.
concept of usefulness and uselessness, right?
Yeah, I mean,
From the projection point of view, it's just
when I said usefulness, I just mean like that it has an ability to continue.
yeah,
So when it expires, it's just the conditions are no longer there to be met for that body to continue. It's the spontaneous like, movement, as Nisargadatta says, like when the conditions come together for the body to exist,
yeah,
then it exists. When the
right,
conditions are no longer able to be met, then it no longer exists.
right. But what does that reincarnation like? Is so this mind reincarnates in some other body, the same
That
mind?
the energy.
Hmm.
I mean, I
Yeah. Okay.
don't know the
Sorry.
specifics behind it,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I should not ask because this, Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'm just saying it's the energy.
But energy doesn't even have a label. Like, it's not Jairam energy, it's not William energy, it is not Steve Jobs energy, right?
It's another one of those questions that you can just
I know. Okay.
contemplate until the cows go home.
Right. Okay. Okay. Again, to go back to the point, somehow we came to know that you are not. When William's mind stayed still and somehow it closed itself or says, hey, look, this is not going anywhere, or somehow it resigned, somehow it said, no, this has to end or something, then, and then it shut up, then the reality which was the reality to which this mind was projecting took over.
It was always
Right. It was always this is the tough part of the story. It was always there, so nothing has changed in that
nothing
sense.
changed. Yeah, nothing changed at all.
But for the Williams mind mechanism, something changed.
The only thing that changes is you're no longer really that concerned with what's happening. You don't mind.
Okay, so you are just less concerned, but still, you will do the normal day-to-day activities, whatever is needed, right?
Yeah, you're just not as compelled to do like the things that other people need to do to drum up like happiness, or to you already have like an innate sense of bliss within you. So like the idea of like having to go do something extra to create like an interesting life, or to create like a good life, or to do something special.
Okay.
Just,
so
yeah, I'm just gonna say that kind of just fades away a bit. But you still do stuff like whatever.
It's the power of the projection of both the body and mind.
I'll still watch a football game. Like.
Okay, so to go back to one of the initial discussions, then for the mind, practice is needed, right?
Yeah, it's a practice of relaxing out of the tightness of it.
Practicing to relax. And see, one of the things which I love very much in what J. Krishnamurti says is, all these words are teaching are mirrors. It's like a mirror to show to you yourself, like what's the reality. So it's not an illusion. At least this part for the mind, there is only one right path, we can say. I mean, it's a pathless path, or it is without direction, but at least these pointers are like mirror which shows to oneself whatever is the reality. So in that sense, this teaching is needed. And then even Osho repeatedly says, this is all fingers pointing to the moon, the reality. Don't like be accustomed to this finger, or like finger is also unreal, and whether it is guru or your guru's words or Vedanta or whatever hell, they're all pointers pointing to the reality. So, but they're helpful, right? It's not a journey, but in a sense, it's a journey, right? Because it's a journey to oneself. It's what they say.
Yeah, the pathless path
to oneself.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So these pointers and these practices are helpful to the mind, right? At one point, it will not be.
Yeah, to a point. I was going to say the exact same thing.
So until we know, or the mind knows that okay, are when that consciousness, the self-illuminating consciousness somehow merges back, right? Mind knows actually, hey, look, this is not my reality, that is my reality. Until that happens, the search effort and reminders are all helpful for the mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I keep hearing sometimes many masters says like there's nowhere to go, you are that only. Then I ask this question, then why is all these practices? Then why should these spiritual masters even talk? Right? If it is the reality. Then I thought, but okay, because of this wrong association or wrong appropriation,
Yes.
clarity has to come. Okay.
You have to unwind
Hmm.
everything that's been wound up. And at
Okay.
some point it becomes loose enough where you're no longer held to that idea, and that idea kind of dissolves.
Okay. And also, William, many times I've seen from the past few years, some days I'll be things will be so clear. Wow, that's it. Yes, there's nothing I need to do. It's all taken care and all. And then next day back into the rut, right? And then after a couple of months, I'll read something very insightful, or somebody will say like very deep and say, "Yeah, this is correct."
Yeah, that's why I said that you have to touch base with it every day. It has to become your reality.
Until then, this is a struggle.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
even if it's not something that's comprehended or understood or realized, it's something
Yeah.
that it's like it always has to be on the back burner throughout the entire day. Whatever you're doing, it has to be there with you. Like
Oh,
the earnestness to understand. It can't be something where you just forget about it for a
for a
couple
month.
days. Yeah. And then
Busy
go
with your
back.
work and family.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't.
Oh,
It has to be your number one priority, ahead of family.
my wife should not hear this. Then I'll be in trouble. She says,
Just
I
keep
am your first priority. Our kid is our first priority.
keep it secret within you.
For now. I can't
I mean,
publicize this. Okay.
I ended up getting divorced. So, and this was a big reason why. So
Yeah.
this was my priority,
Mm.
because people aren't going to make it easy for you.
Oh, hmm. Interesting.
Like, you need to have some type of difficulty.
I mean, it is difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you say? Like, you should have some difficulty.
If you are too comfortable with what you're doing, the incentive to really understand truly what you are is not going to be as pronounced.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
So
yeah.
that's why we kind of like lapse into like not paying attention to it for a month, because we're either too comfortable or too busy, or it's not a priority.
Mm.
Like at some point, like you have to have like your hair on fire. Like it's got to be like that intense of wanting to know. If it's just a passing like interest, it's not going to, like, the mind's never going to relent. Like the mind's always going to have the upper hand.
Okay. See, now I had another question. The consciousness, for whatever reason, it projects all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it might want to have fun. Like it want to torture Jay. It want to Jay to cry and do all these things, and then whatever, right? This is Leela. Whatever things, there should be some purpose, right? I mean, it want to project and see everything,
Yeah,
right? So,
you can't put a purpose on it, because any purpose that you're coming up with is coming from this experience.
From this
You're just,
Jay's individual mind.
yeah, you're just projecting your own idea of what the purpose would be. There's no way to get the actual, if there was a purpose. It's impossible.
But in the society and then for the human mind, everything is purpose driven, right?
Not for me.
As that consciousness, but then the mind, the social mind.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to break out of the habits. It's just habits. You know, everybody looks for purpose, looks for advancement, looks for success,
Yeah,
looks for retirement. Like
yeah.
there's always something to go after or run away from, like one or the other. The hard thing is to just rest and just allow everything to unfold without having any idea where you're going. Because the mind will use that against you. Like, how can you do that?
Yeah.
Like, you need me. You get to a point where you don't even need the experience at all. You're just like, this, it's not actually who I am. So the fears kind of like dissipate, but it takes a while to integrate that, to allow the fears to kind of dissolve.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the struggle that people go through initially.
Okay, then as I do not have, I'm not getting any questions. Maybe if you can elaborate about, like, yeah, you spoken how it happened to you, like you had some stress and you had some personal problems, and how did you? Okay, then you also would have got some insights, some understanding, some clarity. Step by step, you'd have gone right. But then at one point, you would have said, okay, now today is the day. There's no it's a point of no return. Okay, like, right. So like for me, like some insights come, I say, okay, clarity, that's it, and then again relapse, and then I go back. So for you also, it would have happened many times. Okay, this is how it is and all, I got the clarity, but then at one point you would have known, okay, yeah, this is it. There is no going back. It is like now it is like, you know, it's like ash. Like at least Eastern philosophy, they say that
Yeah.
ash is like, now it's done. There is no life in it. It is like God dead, right? So similarly, how did you, like, what day, or like how did you realize, yeah, okay, this is hell I was looking for, now like no return?
I would say that you can't pinpoint like
Okay,
a specific time.
I see.
It's just a dissolution. It's like Shunryu Suzuki talks about, like walking in fog. Like
Okay.
you getting, like there's like a mist,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you realize that you're soaking wet. Like you don't exactly remember when, like at what point did it transition from mist to being soaking wet.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's not like an aha moment. There is no aha moment. I mean, maybe some people have that.
Yeah. Like they say, Buddha specifically under that Bodhi tree, he got that enlightenment. That is what they say. Like on the day, and even that Buddha Purnima, that Buddha full moon day, is like
Yeah.
remembered and celebrated everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I
For
had
example.
my initial awakening was like my aha moment that there's nobody here who's controlling any of this. Like that was my initial, like kind of the start of my
I
journey.
see.
Was the aha moment. And
Okay.
then it was a dissolution from that standpoint, where it was like a pendulum, like kind of like you're saying, sometimes you feel like you're the person, sometimes you feel like, hey, I'm the awareness of this, and it just swung back and forth, and then at some point you just realize that it's not swinging anymore, and you realize that there is no person here.
There's no individual person.
And then you realize at some point it even deepens further, where it's like this whole experiencing is unreal. I'm not even having an experience. Like nothing's ever happened to me.
To that consciousness, but then the projection continues timelessly, right? I mean, by any chance, do you know that start of the projection? Do you know?
No.
No, okay. You know, this projection is happening like in the present tense. There's only present tense, right? I mean, okay. From that point of view, there's no time. Inside there's time. Like for this body might have time, this mind might have time, but then for that which contains everything, there's no time, there's no past, there's no future, there's only here now.
Yeah, like Nisargadatta says, nobody has ever seen me. I've never seen anyone. Because in that state, there's nothing happening. Just witnessing all this stuff here, including yourself, the idea you have of yourself. That was a big turning point, was realizing that who I am, or who I think I am, is part of the projection that I'm watching.
And then, okay, so now there is another key thing. Now, there are so many enlightened masters, right? Some of them fake, some of them real. I mean, real in the sense, okay, let me ask you this way. Now, William's memory says, okay, you read this Nisarata Maharaj and all those things, right? So these are all in William's memory, William's projected memory. William's personality is what is remembers, right? Right now, William, the personality realized that, okay, no, this personality is unreal, it is the wholeness. But then William remembers that, okay, Nisarada Maharaj said this, J. Krishnamurti said this, Ramana Maharshi said this, all these things William recalls.
See, but there's no William. It's really the consciousness that's remembering.
The consciousness remembers.
You have to understand that everything is consciousness. Like your consciousness, I'm consciousness. Whatever's appearing within your mind is consciousness. Whatever's appearing in my mind is consciousness, and it's appearing to the awareness of the consciousness.
I'm back to square one.
That's good, because eventually you have to go back to the beginning anyway.
Okay. Then what's the physicality of this book? There's no physicality then.
No.
It's only appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no physical objects.
There's
it's all
no
appearance.
There's no physical reality.
And is this appearance for the mind, or the mind creates this appearance?
The mind creates it. The mind
interprets it.
The mind is it. Like even the world is the mind. They're one and the same.
No, they cannot be one and the same. I mean, okay, I know from your point of view, the mind and the world are the same. There are no physical objects. There are no physical objects. Okay. The mind and the world are the same. Can you please explain?
Whatever you experience, you're experiencing within your mind.
Right.
So they're one and the same.
So they're not separate.
No, they both have to be there for it to appear.
Right. Both has to be there. That I agree. But then they're separate.
Well, they're two sides of, opposite sides of the same coin.
So they appear and disappear together always. No exception.
Yeah.
And mind should be there for the world to be there.
Yeah, because if you die, is the world still
Even
there?
if I'm in deep sleep, there is no world. Simple.
Yeah.
Death is later. Right? When I'm in deep sleep in my bed,
Yeah.
the
There's
world is
nothing.
not there. There's nothing is
Yeah,
there.
so that's the type of stuff that you have to kind of like pull together and use that as a way to break free of the idea that the mind is holding of its spoon-fed reality. Like you've been spoon-fed who you think you are and what this
The mind
reality
is.
is.
The
Yeah.
mind is spoon-fed. Jay's mind and all 7 billion people's
Yeah,
mind is.
by other minds. Like
Yeah.
other minds have spoon-fed your mind, and you've taken it to be the reality, just because that's what everybody's told you. So the thing that happens is you unwind all the things that everybody have told you, and you go back to the beginning. And that's why I said you go back to the beginning before you had any idea of who you were. Like, who were you as a newborn? You weren't anybody. You didn't have any idea who you were. There was no concept. There was like an I amness. That was about it.
Okay, see, the mind and the world appear together and vanish together. Then what about the other people's mind, which influences my mind? I mean, this Jairam's mind. I mean, what is the reality?
The reality is their reality. Like when you talk with somebody, you're creating your reality about that person. You're not getting their reality.
But then
you don't know what's happening within me or who I am.
But if I ask them, hey, give me this specific book, right? See, even if I'm projecting them, right? And if I ask them, hey, give me this book, they'll give me this book.
But it's all happening within your mind.
And this book is also happening within my mind and projected.
Yeah, and it's disappearing moment by moment.
Yeah. But just because something disappears,
how could that be reality if it's disappearing? If you can't go back and recapture the moment. Like it's like watching a movie. Like when the screen changes, how is that any different than the screen here that's changing? We want to make it into some tangible reality. I just sent a tweet out earlier today.
Okay. Yeah.
About the mind and it dissolving into the moment, like, and then dissolving in deep sleep. So like the world is a projection. How can a projection be real?
Mind projected.
Mind projected world. And everybody's experiencing their own world. Like, how could that be real? You can't experience whatever's happening from my perspective.
Yeah.
So how can your perspective be real? It's just your idea. Everybody has a different idea. So how can there be 7.8 whatever it is billion worlds and then all be real? It's projection. Every mind is projecting their own world.
And there's no one physically shared world, Earth.
And if there was, what's the difference? It doesn't mean anything because you can't experience it. You can only experience your projection of it. So that's another one of those questions that's just going to drive you crazy.
This mind projects whatever it projects, but this mind is in awareness or consciousness. But if I know that whatever this, even the mind itself is possible because of the, even the mind itself is a projection of consciousness. Okay, so William, if you say you are consciousness, then you yourself are projecting William's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also projecting Jay's mind?
Mm-hmm. Everything.
How can you say that?
Because you know it. Once you know it, you know it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you have access to every sentient being's mind?
Yeah, but I can't produce that in this environment because I'm limited to the brain that's operating within this environment.
Okay, so that universal consciousness have projected William, but William doesn't have access to that universal sentient beings.
Correct. Yeah, because this is a limited aspect of consciousness.
So William cannot do anything, or he cannot do much.
Yeah, the limited aspect can't know the unlimited. But the unlimited knows all of the limited.
That anyway, neither William nor Jay can comprehend that. But
right.
You can say it knows because that's what projects everything. Every single thing, that thing is what projects.
Yeah, and you'll feel it. You'll know it.
Okay.
When you are it, by being it, like you're it.
So when William as a personality took all those efforts all these years, and then he knows, okay, this is not the reality, but my reality is that, and then still William's mind will continue to project, William's body will continue to function, but then that William thinking that I am William, that will not be there.
Correct.
But then who is running? Oh, okay. Then even before William knew that he is not William, the universal consciousness only was running the show, both his body, mind, and work.
William was like the little kid, like in the back seat with the steering wheel. Actually, it was worse than that. It was like the kid like messing with the driver.
Sorry?
It was just making things more complicated.
Oh yeah.
It was like more of a distraction.
Oh. Okay, yeah, possible distract. See, even if you say it's a distraction, then there's some reality to William, but there's no reality to William, right? So
yeah, it's just another component of the consciousness.
Right. So whatever William does, okay, William doesn't exist anyway. So whatever William does is neither right nor wrong. If you plant some atom bomb and kill 1 million people, he's okay.
Yeah, and that's why you really have to understand kind of the truth of what you are, because people will come up with the idea that, hey, I don't exist. I could do whatever I want. Like,
Right.
it's not me doing this, and just go do something like crazy.
Right.
So you have to really understand like what you are.
No, wait a second. So now why don't you go and do so whatever the society calls crazy things? Like, what stops you? You can.
It's just the way the consciousness moves.
Okay, we cannot ask the consciousness. So wait. Now William can even go and throw bombs on somebody else. Can, right?
You could.
Good. Okay, yeah. That's a good answer.
I have no idea what's going to happen next.
You, the consciousness.
Correct.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, because that's your natural state is to be open to the moment without having any preconceived expectation of what's going to happen.
But William, then how is there so much order in this universe? Like Earth rotates specific time and flowers bloom at a specific time of the year, and electrons revolve at precisely whatever it way. If you say everything is like random, like spontaneously created, how is there even order in this universe?
Because the order is spontaneously created as well.
No, order needs humongous amount of planning and coordination.
Does a plant
Yeah.
decide that it's going to put a leaf out here and a leaf over there, and decide that the flower is going to come up at a certain time? It just happens.
See, it can happen, but there's an order in that happening, is what I'm trying to tell you. There's a beautiful, precise order in that happening. Why is not apple come out of banana trees? I mean, there's an order.
Yeah, but we're
It's a
getting back to
discipline.
the question of like what is God, or what is source, or what is like how is this emerging out of the pure consciousness? I don't know.
How? Okay. I can't ask how. Okay.
Yeah, who can answer something that is being created from beyond the experience?
Okay. Thank you. Fine. Yeah. I will go through all these videos and update it. Okay. I'll just stop the record.